a beautiful morning. It's all foggy outside. It makes me want to do nothing but curl up under a blanket and read books. However, we have school to do, housework to do, and fun to be had. Gracie, washer here, is finishing up her job. She's gonna squirt me. Don't! Ah! She totally did it! No! Thanks for doing your job. When everyone helps, it means we can do more fun stuff together and read more books together, okay?
And keep watching that movie?
Yeah, if you want to do that, but that's for later today, okay? Look at you, you're gonna be walking soon. You're practicing everywhere.
And I'm helping him practice by holding his hand and walk.
That's right. We love you. Today, one of the things we're gonna do for school is predict the winter weather using old wives' tales. Now there's many old wives' tales to choose from. Some ways that people in the past have predicted the weather is the thickness of the coat on animals, the size of pine cones, the thickness of the skin on acorns. There's a lot of other ones too. But the two we're gonna use today are persimmon seeds and woolly worms. The hard part about this is going to be finding woolly worms. We're a little past due on them. We have found a ton before today. But of course, you know, whenever you're looking for something, it's much harder to find it.
Yeah.
That's not a woolly worm.
That's a grub, not a woolly worm.
Grace just asked me, how can you predict the weather from woolly worms? Well, it's said that it's by the width of the brown stripe in the middle of the woolly worm. There is a research institute in Missouri that did a study to figure out if this was actually an accurate method for predicting the harshness of winter. What they found was that the woolly worm was 80% accurate over 15 years of studying it to predict whether a winter was going to be harsh or mild. So that's pretty accurate.
Slug.
Oh, a slug. Good job. Any luck yet? Man, oh man. How many did you catch that one day?
10, 11, I don't know. Like a whole handful.
That's amazing. Have you had any luck over there?
No.
Okay. I think we're gonna have to abandon our search for woolly worms. I do think I did a pretty good job not totally messing up the wood pile. What are you doing? You were asleep. Okay. Good night. I guess those were my mama senses telling me to come check on that baby. He got out of bed by himself, crawling around. He's been asleep for like 5 whole minutes. That's one thing. Babies kind of rule the house with their nap schedule, and he has changed his nap schedule lately. It has made figuring out our day really challenging. That was like a 5-minute nap. Woolly worms do not spin cocoons and turn into moths before winter. They hibernate. The way that woolly worms hibernate is they completely dehydrate their body, and then their tissues produce something called cryoprotectant. And this substance completely protects it from being frozen. So woolly worms even survive in the Arctic because they produce this chemical that completely protects its tissues from being frozen. And in the spring, they just thaw out and go about their merry way. Though in the Arctic, when they thaw out, they really only have a couple of days to mate and carry on their life cycle. I guess we'll move on to persimmon seeds, and those I definitely have. Will you try this persimmon? You don't like it? I think it's yummy. It's really sweet. I've had this persimmons from this same persimmon tree before that were, woo, They were really bad.
I'm
But this one is nice and ripe. You gotta eat them, at least this kind. You gotta eat them when they're super ripe, and then they're sweet.
How do you make it with persimmon seeds and woolly worms?
How do you predict the weather? Well, the saying is that the woolly worms, if their brown stripe is real narrow, then it's gonna be a harsh winter, lots of snow and cold weather. If it's wide, it'll be a mild winter. So what you do is you look at maybe 5 or 10 or 20 of them, and then you see which one you see the most often, narrow or wide band. Same thing with the persimmon seeds, except with persimmon seeds, we're gonna take a seed and just crack it between your teeth. And then once it's cracked, you open it up. The thing with persimmon seeds is that there's something in the middle of the seed. It's either a spoon, a knife, or a fork. And if it's a spoon, it means that it's going to be wet, lots of wet, heavy snow. You're going to be shoveling your driveway. And if it's a fork, it means it'll be light, fluffy snow. And if it's a knife, it means there's not a lot of snow, but lots of ice and wind that'll cut you. What kind of winter are we going to have according to the persimmon seeds?
A knife.
You think knives? Gracie, which one do you think?
I want knives.
You want it to be icy?
Oh, I mean forks.
You want light, fluffy snow instead of wet, heavy snow? Wet, heavy snow is better for snowmen.
I want both of them.
You do? Okay. Brian, what about you, buddy? He says, I just want to make it up this hill. Hey!
Yeah, he wants steep. He wants steep.
Let's see if he makes it.
He wants steep ice.
You made it up that big hill. Good job. Okay, Joy, count the spoons for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So what kind of winter are we gonna have?
Spoons.
You guessed right, Grace. Now we're gonna have to see if that actually comes true. Do you guys want to look real closely at them?
I want to hold them now. You hold them now.
There were also some studies done with persimmon seeds, and the study went on since 1950. They found persimmon seeds in their area to be extremely accurate at predicting the weather. I think this was in the Ozarks.